how do you travel with so many shoes? Because I feel like I put in like 5 pairs of shoes and it just takes up one whole side of all my luggage.
Yeah, that's why you gotta carry one for clothes, one for shoes.
You really travel with the whole luggage just for shoes?
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh
That's
yeah.
wild.
I think traveling just came from the fact that I've done so well with Amazon. I'm also
Cheers.
And welcome back to another installation of the Bois podcast. I'm Cisco, your host, and I'm joined by my 2 lovely studly co-hosts, Alpha Logan and Golden Locks McGill. And we have a special guest today. We have the one and only Candace. How are you doing today, Candace?
Hi. I'm doing great.
Good. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining us here on the podcast today. I've met you through Reezy's Discord, I would say around probably like a year or so now. And we've kind of chatted here in between. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to have you on here and just kind of get your Amazon FBA reseller journey story. Just because, I mean, I know you do big numbers, but they're not really promoted out there. So I just wanted the world to know who you are in the reseller community.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I feel like my Amazon story isn't as exciting as other people's story. I started Amazon a couple years ago with books while I was still in college. I was buying gaylords of books, throwing them onto a U-Haul and breaking them down on the rooftop of my college parking garage, and because that's the only space I had, I was living in a dorm, and started with books. And then eventually moved over to RA and OA and went from there.
And so the profile picture that you have with you kind of hanging on the edge, is that your college rooftop?
No, that's in downtown LA.
Oh, that's so funny. So I mainly knew you specifically just because you were the one always posting the like got 'em screenshots of all the shoes. So tell us more about like that passion and how how you have a passion of shoes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have, where is it? Oh yeah, I wear a lot of shoe gear. But my passion for shoes started in high school. I used to wear a lot of really sick kicks with all of my outfits when I was in high school. And so when I moved over to college and I moved to Southern California, the shoe community is huge over here. So it's really easy to cop a lot of shoes and to meet a lot of cool people who really collect a lot of shoes as well. So once I moved over here, I really dove deep into the scene and started collecting every hype shoe that I could get my hands on. And so yeah, that's where it all came from.
And so correct me if I'm wrong, most of the shoes that you get are for personal or for resale? So
I have a huge collection of, I guess you could say resale, but they're on ice. That's what I like to say. They're all on ice. I like to say, like, if I get a pair of shoes, I like to have a rock 'em and a stock 'em, so that I can wear one pair and then keep the other pair to just wait on. I mean, shoes are like stocks. They constantly are going up and down in price, but most of the time in a long period, they'll go up. So I like to keep them all sitting there waiting till the day that I'm ready to sell them and do something bigger with the hobby,
Yeah. How many pairs are in your collection?
In my personal collection, I'd probably say over 250, which isn't a lot compared to other people. But for me, I'm constantly going through shoes. For my personal collection, I wear my kicks like they go through it. And so it's constantly being cycled out. And then for my stockum, that number is a lot higher, way, way higher.
So do you have like a whole room just of shoes then?
Oh yeah. This side, this room is all shoes.
The shoe room.
So do you ever get a pair of shoes that you just love wearing so much that you will like buy it twice? So one that you can just everyday wear and then one just for special? Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I feel like for my personal collection, I constantly am buying like the same type of, I like to wear SBs a lot. They're very, very comfortable. I just got back from Europe and I wore one pair of SBs the majority of the time just because they're so easily you throw them on, you can wear them, they're comfortable, whatever. So once I blow through that shoe, I'll just buy the same one and go through it.
Are they ever like out of stock and you're like, why'd they stop selling this?
So far, no, but I live by a lot of skate shops. So they are constantly selling those shoes for retail. I mean, you got to catch them at the right time, just like any hype shoe. And so, yeah.
So this is a personal question, just because I feel like I always run into the same issue. How do you travel with so many shoes? Because like I feel like I put in like 5 pairs of shoes and it just takes up one whole side of all my luggage.
Yeah, that's why you got to carry one for clothes, one for shoes.
You really travel with the whole luggage just for shoes?
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh
That's
yeah.
wild.
And that's like the checked bag, because at least if they lose my clothes, I'll just run to the store right down the street. But my shoes, they're coming with me on the plane.
That's wild. So that kind of leads into like the follow-up question. Like you like looking at all like your social media, it's primarily like just a lot of traveling. So how did that passion come to be? And yeah, tell us like some of one of your favorite places that you've been recently.
Yeah, so I think traveling just came from the fact that I've done so well with Amazon. I'm also on Walmart. Just doing so well from the businesses that I am in, I've afforded myself the opportunity to travel. But traveling is very expensive, you know? So probably a couple years ago, learned how to travel hack. That I don't know if you guys know what that term is, but people travel all over the place for nearly nothing. You know, even if you have the money to just blow, me personally, I'd rather save the buck and make it even better that I'm traveling for much, much less. So learning how to travel hack and learning how credit works was probably my biggest advantage to date. Like I would say that's more important than even, my Amazon business, because knowing those things just like really opened a lot of doors for me. And so, yeah, I once I learned how to travel hack and I combined the hustle with the travel hack, I've been able to go a lot more places than I've ever dreamed of, and recently I just took a 3-week trip to Europe, and the trip was probably supposed to cost around $80,000, and I did it for around $3,000. Food, accommodations, and flights.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite credit cards to use?
I actually only have 3, but my favorite credit card is the Amex Platinum. That hands down is my favorite. I've dove deep into all different types of credit cards, just like, on the back end to see like which has the best benefits and things like that. But hands down, that one's my favorite.
What are the other 2 you have?
I got a Discover when I first turned 18. That's my least favorite. And then I have just a regular Wells Fargo card. Nothing crazy. Everything goes on my Amex.
I feel like the Discover card is everyone's least favorite, but it's everyone's first credit card that they get, just because like they had the whole like student promotion going on. It was so easy to get. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me. Sad face.
So how are you able to travel for so cheap with just the one credit card? Because in my mind, what I know about travel hacking is it's all about those sign-up bonuses with the new cards. So I'd love to hear more.
Yeah. So for this trip, I actually didn't even use a sign-up bonus. For me, all of my points acquire through spending. Everything. Some people are against this, but for me, I'm for it. Everything that I spend, every dollar goes on to my Amex, because there's no benefit to me to use my debit card. So everything that I spend goes on my Amex. I acquire all of my points that way. I acquire the access to lounges anywhere you go, which is great. Free food before your flight. That in itself saves you a lot of money.
Yep.
And it feels nice too. So yeah, it's just through spending, my normal spending. I know a lot of people who sign up for like all the cards and stuff to get those sign-up bonuses, which are great. They're really great. I mean, it's great to do, but there's so many ways around that to where you don't need so many cards. I do know that having a bunch of cards is also great for your credit, but for me so far, I haven't really utilized the sign-up bonus. Yeah, it's just, for me, it's spending.
So you're just using points to get hotels and flights across Europe then?
Yeah. So there's a lot of times where for me, I just monitor different sites. If I know I'm going here or there, I'll monitor different sites to see when they're having bonuses where you transfer a point, they give you 3 points or three, you know, there's a lot of that happening to where you can get transfer bonuses to Emirates or to hotels and things like that, which is very, very useful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Amex was running like a promotion, like I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, where it was like ×4 if you transfer it to like Hawaiian airline and stuff like that.
Yeah, and usually for me, it's just with the airline itself. Like you have to monitor. I don't really monitor Amex that much. I monitor the sites, the airlines or hotels that I actually want to travel with, and then go from there. And I just have like an open schedule and say, look, let's see what works out.
Now, so I have a question because I've asked like 4 people and nobody's ever heard of it. Have you heard of Point.me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you use it?
Yeah, it's a great tool.
High five! You're the first person to actually hear it.
Yeah, it's a great tool. That's a great tool, and so is it's slipping my mind, but it helps you figure out the space, how much space you get in your
I know what you're
flight.
talking
That
about.
one's a great one too.
Yeah, and then we had Ben Books the World on the podcast a couple episodes back, and like I just assumed that he knew what I was talking about. He had no clue. It just kind of went over. He's like, yeah, I just usually just use them for hotels and just pay the regular flight prices. But
I think using your points for flights is probably the hands down the best way to use your points because you can get the most usage out of it. This last trip I flew Emirates, and for 2 people I paid $200 first class. It was my first time ever flying first class with Emirates, and usually you just pay taxes, but this time for 2 people we paid around $200, which is really nice because you know those flights are like $15K one way per person.
Yeah. And Emirates is really nice. I imagine first class was quite the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. It was crazy. But points, using those points, it's the best thing that you could do for yourself to travel.
And was that first class ticket on the long flight over to Europe as well?
Yeah, it was.
Oh my goodness. I bet that was really nice.
And honestly, it wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
Because I've never flown it. So you make friends with the flight attendants and they show you everything. And it's like, oh my gosh, I got 2 hours left. Like I need more time to see everything else.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
crazy. Where in Europe did you go?
I started in Milan, moved to Venice, Lake Como, stopped in Switzerland, moved to Paris, and then ended in London. Yeah, it was all over. I was all over the place.
and I feel like you do these like extended trips every like quarter. I feel like either you're in Europe or you're in like Mexico or you're going somewhere else. That's wild.
Yeah. Well, without the points and without knowing how to travel hack, I definitely wouldn't be doing those things because it's expensive. You know, especially to get out of the U.S. is the most expensive part.
So you were, remind me or correct me if I'm wrong, but you were reselling while you were in college, and you recently graduated like around this time last year, right? Or
yeah. I've been reselling since college, and I feel like it really helped me grow as a person throughout college. Like I never felt like I really fit into the college scene. I always had like a full-time job, multiple full-time jobs throughout college just to like get that hustle in. I'm very like grind, go. And so Amazon really helped me like open a box that just like checks that list, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And then so now that you've graduated college, have you looked for like a job with that degree, or have you just kind of just continued reselling and just?
No, I knew that I didn't want to have like a 9 to 5. I've always wanted to have like a business of some kind or, you know.
It sounds like Logan, actually. Logan graduated, I think, last year too.
Yeah.
And he hasn't actually got a job.
Nope. Just selling Amazon.
Yeah, it's I feel like when you decide to work for somebody else, it's like a different kind of grind, you know. I'd much rather work for myself and make my own schedule, go and come as I please, and that's that. It's not easy having your own business. It's definitely a struggle. There's slow seasons and things like that, but it's all worth it in the end to have your freedom.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd work like 12, 15 hours a day, but be able to set those hours myself than have to work 8 hours a day for somebody else. It's all about the freedom.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. You've got that freedom and you've got the money to go and like just go to Europe. But like, who are you going with? Are your friends in the same boat? Because a lot of times Logan will be like, hey, you just want to go here? And I'll be like, I'm working for you. I don't have that money to just go. So who are you going with?
Yeah, I tend to put myself in a box with people who are very like-minded, but I do come like with all of my friends, not everyone, has a great business that they can lean on and things like that. But I do make it a priority to help my friends step up, because I'm 23 years old. So a lot of people aren't hustling like all of us are, most people are still trying to figure that out, and that's totally okay. But I tend to like to bring my friends up as well by helping them start their own businesses and start their own Amazon businesses and things like that. So I feel like I've made that a big priority in my life too, because I want to see my friends win. I want to see my family win too. So it is sometimes hard to tell a friend, hey, let's go out to Brazil. Let's go here. But I have points. Let's go.
Yeah. And it's funny. I feel like I bring this up every single podcast, but it's just like true to like who I am and who like I want to be. That a J. Cole lyric of he says, now it's slipping my mind, of course.
What good is first class if my friends can't sit?
Exactly. And so like I totally resonate with exactly what you were just saying. Like, what's the point of being in first class if I'm there by myself, if my friends can't be there? And on top of that, just like pushing your friends to do better is like one of the best things I think you can do, like as a friend, because at the end of the day, it's beneficial for both parties. Because at the end of the day, you are the average of your 5 closest friends, or the 5 closest people that you spend the most time with.
Yep. And the thing with this business and like how we're able to earn so many points, you literally can't spend them all on yourself.
No.
Like, you just bring your friends along with you because we're earning so many points. It's crazy.
Yep. And I think it's really fun to teach my friends about these things, like I post on Instagram a lot when I travel, because I feel like I have a lot of people from like my hometown and younger women that follow me who just really want to see someone that they know do well. And so it really excites me when people reach out and want that help and want that guidance on how to build a business or how to travel hack and things like that. And then I see them later post that they went on these trips and they're doing well. And it makes me feel warm, to see that other people are succeeding too.
So with all this traveling and everything kind of going on, like, break down how you run your business currently. Do you have a team of VAs at all, or is it just you sourcing? Do you have a prep center, or how does it all work?
I think I could be doing a lot better. It's just me. I have no VAs. I have no prep center. I have trust issues. I don't know. I used to be on a couple of lists. I find lists to be hard to use as well. My business is just run from my apartment. I buy stuff weekly and send it off. Sometimes I do a lot of MF shipping too, until the product gets overwhelming and then it goes to FBA. But yeah, it's just me.
That's crazy. So back in the day, how were you doing the pools? Because there's one picture that I completely remember you like posted, hey, is anybody near this Walmart? Because my U-Haul is like full of pools and I can't take the rest of them. And it was like 5 pallets of pools left at some Walmart garden center.
Yeah, it was crazy. But also in the area that I'm in, there's like probably 20 Walmarts. If you give like a good drive, like an hour drive proximity, there's a lot of Walmarts. And I would just wake up early, talk to people, talk to employees and stuff, and pick up everything and anything that I could.
But yeah, that's crazy. So okay, you have a bunch of pools, or you have a bunch of locations to buy the pools from. So, but you lived in an apartment. So did you have like a storage unit, or they just, because I remember for me at least, stupidly bought 75 pools and then listed them all at once, and they all like sold out. So were you just like, as soon as you purchased them, like going straight to the UPS office and sending them off and not even storing them?
So for that summertime, I purchased a storage facility. And so basically what would happen is I'd wake up in the morning, right when Walmart opened, picked up as many pools as I could get, list them immediately, and then they would get picked up the next day by the freight all at once, and they would just get shifted out every single day, just as a whole truckload of pools would be shifted out every single day. It was insane. And the problem is that the storage facility, of course, closed at night. So I was also doing chlorine. So I'd have to pack chlorine sometimes in the parking lot of the facility because it was already closed and I had nowhere else to pack it. So I would pack it all in the lot and then put it all back into the U-Haul till the next day for everything to get picked up. And then I wasn't smart enough to have all the tools to move everything. So I would just push the pool onto one of those like flat rolling, I don't even know what it's called, like a moving dolly, but it was like just flat onto the ground. I would just push a pool, move it outside. All the pallets would be outside already for them to pick it up. I didn't wrap them with wrap, nothing. They would just go on the pallet, they'd put it on the truck, and we'd move on to the next. And I'd have like lines of pools in the parking lot because there was nowhere else to put them until they picked them up. So I just have lines of pallets with one single pool on each one waiting for them to pick it up. And then they'd come, the guy would take everything and say, see you tomorrow. And the day would start all over again the next day.
That's
incredible.
Wild.
It was wild. It was
powered
insane.
by Amazon.
And you know what? This is crazy, but I actually got banned from Costco for the rest of the year during that time because I bought too much chlorine. And I would like change disguises. I'd go all over the state because I knew where the chlorine was and I couldn't get enough of it. And so guys, he's like, you already bought enough. We've realized you bought enough. And I said, what do you mean? I have 2 in my car. I only have 2. And they're like, it's on this account, 300 and something on this account. And the limit is 2. And I was like, okay, well, off to the next membership, So at that point, then I started using Instacart, and the Instacart person would go in and walk right out to the parking lot and hand it to me, and then it'd go again and then hand it back to me in the parking lot. So it was fine.
I never thought about Instacart. That's
wild.
But
I did,
they still use your membership. So then that's why I got banned. Temporarily, not forever, just for the season.
Time to make a new membership.
Yeah, literally. Wow.
Then I had friends coming. I had like a lot of people coming to go into the Costco's because the Costco's here were so packed, and every day they would replenish the pallets, and they were so packed of chlorine, and they would just sit there like it's like free candy sitting there. I couldn't just leave it. I had to clear it. Yeah.
Like, why would they not want your money?
They didn't want my money.
Really, really. They're probably just trying to make sure everyone can get some.
Exactly. Because it was literally. I remember those times, and they'll, me and Logan were on an ASIN that was similar, but as fun as it definitely was never as fun as like chlorine and pools, because chlorine and pools literally were instant sales, and they were always like 50 to 100% ROI, and it was just gnarly, and it wasn't like a small light item that you sell 100 times. It's literally a huge $200, $300, $500 item that literally just sells instantly every single time. And it was wild. Like,
you guys talk about it like it was Christmas morning or something.
It was.
Every time you guys just light up like a Christmas tree.
You have no idea. It was like yeah, that product that Logan shared with me was close, but it was only $12 to $20 that we were making off each unit. Like, pools were literally, depending on which one you got, if you got the big ones, you were selling them at like $1,000, $1,300, $1,400.
And I don't know what, I haven't shipped anything that big sense.
Yeah, me
But
either.
I don't know if I got a deal or not, but I was working with somebody who had like a hookup on shipping. So for every pool, it was $300 to freight. So no matter the size. So I was shipping those pools anywhere across the country for $300 flat rate.
Oof.
That's
nice.
wild.
It was
Yeah, no,
crazy.
I got lucky because I was only able to secure like maybe like 10 big pools. And then I got lucky because literally every single one was within a 3-hour driving distance for me. So I would pull up like the freight cost and it would show up as like $500-$600. And I'll be like, I'm just gonna drive 3 hours and go drop this off. And I would just like put it in the back of my wife's car because she has the SUV, take out the baby seat, leave it in the garage, and I'll just drive down to Richmond. I'd drive down to, North Carolina. I'd go up to Delaware, just drop off a pool. And then what I would ship was just the invoice. And I would just put that letter in the mail, and it was $3 shipping for
Smart.
a $1,000
Very
pool.
risky.
Hey, it was fine.
Very risky. During that time, I only had one incident. I didn't have any. I was so worried because the only bigger item that I had shipped before that was heaters. And so that was like that popular, And so I was really worried that I was going to get like an influx of like returns or people that said that they didn't get it or whatever. But I only had one issue, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't get many pool returns either. I got maybe out of the big ones, none. And then I would get a couple of like the 10 footers and the 15 footers, but nothing like drastic. Like, it wasn't terrible. And even like the ones that did come back that were like the 15 footers, I just was still able to go back to Walmart, and it wasn't for me. I don't know. Here you go.
What a time to be alive. And shout out Reezy for hooking us all up. Pool Patrol, Chlorine Cartel.
Yes, yes.
I swear his group was definitely the first group to be on it. Like, nobody can
100%.
tell me different. Because I remember Mandy and Jacob, or Amazon Kingpin, literally mentioned it, like, to be on the lookout for it, like, this time at, that year when everything happened. And then all of a sudden, like, May 1st, it all just, like, to the moon.
Went ham.
And,
Yeah.
It was crazy.
Same with
And then,
PS5s.
Yeah. And then
PS5s were a time too.
They still
come by.
Not anymore,
Yeah.
sad face.
Back when PS5s were popping off, I was buying those and going into Best Buys and Targets around here. And those were coming in and out like hotcakes out of my apartment. I probably had like 50 to 100 at a time sitting here, but they would rotate out like socks, just in and out all day, every day for a while.
Yeah, it's definitely, those were good times. I mean, obviously we don't have to share, but is there even anything remotely near to like what those were back then? Like, there's nothing right now. I mean, Stanley was close to it. Like, you can buy 1 million Stanleys and they would all sell out. And they still kind of do, but I mean, nothing like PS5.
I'd say nothing those numbers,
like that.
Nothing that easy, because those, you didn't really have to do anything. You just throw it on a pallet or you throw it in a box and you move on. Nothing that easy.
Yep. And then, so, now that there's no huge, like, crazy BOLO thing, like, what category do you kind of focus on primarily? Do you focus, like, on bundles, any, like, specific grocery items, or any, like, beauty or anything specific?
My favorite category is grocery. I really like grocery. Bundles and grocery. Beauty is really great. I think that those two categories are mostly people's favorites. I could be wrong, but I feel like those two are, like, the easiest to work with.
Yeah. Do you do any wholesale?
No, I don't. Mm-mm.
Is it something you're interested in, or you just want to stick with what you're doing?
I think I'm interested. I just don't know where to start exactly. I haven't put in enough research to dive deep into wholesale and to find like reliable sources and things like that. But I'm interested. So far, I've just been doing everything from like literally the roots, like where people usually just start off. Like, that's just what's worked for me. So I haven't changed it.
Yeah,
well,
Logan, wholesale's overrated.
Overrated. Like, it really depends on your goals. I think if you want to scale and build a massive business, then wholesale is necessary at some point. But like, that's not what everybody wants to do. You can absolutely crush it just doing arbitrage.
Yeah.
Well, I
I
think
just
for
think
me,
in general.
the reason it's worked so well for me is because there's so many stores in the area that I'm in that the inventory is very surplus, so it works for me, but I can understand where people that don't have so many stores jump into wholesale.
Mhm.
So how's the breakup between like RA and OA for you? Are you like mostly OA, mostly RA, 50-50, or how does that kind of divvy up a little bit?
Mostly RA, actually. Yeah.
See that's perfect. Just because like I feel like all business models in this like space work, and there's some factors, right? Like location. If you're in like a super
Mhm.
heavily dense area, then yeah, RA you can scale that to the moon. But if you're in like in a place like where Logan is, where the closest TJ Maxx is an hour and a half away, then you
45
can't really.
minutes.
Yeah. Then it's a little bit different. You can't really scale RA. But I just feel like people like in the space right now just follow a hype train, and then they go from RA and then leaving RA and go to OA, and then okay, the next like hot commodity now is like wholesale. And I feel like this year for resellers has been the wholesale phase. But realistically, all of the business structures work, in my
Mhm.
opinion. You can scale it pretty high.
Is that true, or are you just a nostalgia guy?
Both. I think I really enjoy going to the stores and just seeing new things. Like if there's like a new toy, like I'm a kid at heart. So if I like see something cool, I always want to keep it for myself. And it's different. Like you don't get the same dopamine hit when you're doing online sourcing and you send it to a prep center, you never touch it. It's kind of like a game, like most
RA
people
is like
say.
a treasure hunt.
Exactly. And it's
I
fun.
feel like OA, I get too anxious. Like I want it to come in right away. Like especially with like, let's say Legos. Like there's 6 Lego stores in my area, and I can just run into Lego right when things drop, before other resellers get their hands on them, and the Legos can fly out of my hands. But if you order it online, by the time you're getting the Legos online, every other reseller has them, and it's tanked. The whole listing is gone. It's over with, So I feel like RA is really useful if you have those stores and you're able to get in there, because most people aren't going to be in stores. They're going to wait for their orders online. I'm just too impatient.
I'm with you. Did you okay, two questions, because I just want to see like how your experience was compared to mine. So were you on the Christmas Christmas tree Lego set that came out this year? And did you also sell the Titanics last year?
I wasn't on the Titanics. I was on the Christmas tree this year before people got their hands on them.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have a Lego store and you grab them, right? At first, for whatever reason, they didn't limit me. I just grabbed 10 just to kind of try, but typically they limit at 5 per season items. But I ended up grabbing it in the first like week that the listing went up. It was literally like 120% ROI, and then it was amazing. Just FBM them all, like sent them all out. They all sold out, and then a week and a half later, it's just break even.
Over. Yep.
Over.
That's how quick Legos, that's really how quick the Legos are right now, because so many
Mhm.
people know what to look for. You have to get your hands on them very, very quick, and you have to predict what's going to happen,
Mm-hmm. So just
another good item was the carts.
I never found one.
Did you get? You never found one?
I never found one.
What was it?
I didn't try hard.
They were the Target toy carts. They were little kids pushing carts. So I saw them on TikTok before. It was probably like September, October. I saw it on TikTok, and I just feel like I know what like moms look for, and I just know so many people shop at Target. So I went and I bought them before they were hyped up. And I first put in an order for 10, and then Mandy mentioned it and was like, these might pop off. So then I went and bought more before they even started selling. And I was selling them local for like $120, just like within a couple days, like all flying off the shelves. And then I was botting them. Once everybody found out about them, I was having to bot them because I couldn't get my hands on them in store. And there's a lot of Targets around me too. So I would try to place orders and they'd only let you place one. So I'd be driving to places for only one. That's irritating, But they were really good for a long time too.
Good old Target.
Gotta love 'em.
Yeah.
This is why I love RA. I'm gonna do more RA. Just you guys inspired me.
That'll-
Go do
But
some RA
one-
right after this pod.
one last tidbit, just as a reminder of the recording of this podcast. It is March 1st, so a lot of the new 100-year anniversary Disney Legos just came out. Just saying.
Really?
See how those-
Yeah, it wouldn't be a Doughboys podcast without Cisco bringing up something.
Big fact. I mean,
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.